Hey people, Positive Paul here, and it is Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. And this video, I will rehash some certain issues as I continue to prosecute my case against these American, Nazi, European, British Satanists that have totally put what we call Mother Earth into a full tailspin. That's one way of putting it. And the way they do that is their number one tool in their toolbox is what we call a lie, being untruthful. Now, we know Esau despised his birthright. And just on that one aspect, we understand that what that event put into motion would become one of the longest holding grudges known to mankind. And this would be apparent 100% when we see the Israelites being put into captivity after Nebuchadnezzar came in and, essentially, hey, your time is up. And we know Jeremiah tried, and he let them know, you're going to, 70 years will pass by before the Holy One of Israel visits again to try to guide his chosen people through this morass, this swamp, this muck and mire of these Edomites who pretend to be the real Israelites. And this is all brought on by them originally despising their birthright. And, it's more complicated than that. But if we understand Scripture, we understand how this developed. So what they were able to successfully do over the course of probably thousands of years, the big lie is that white people now today are the source of all the problems. And when they created the term minority, this is how clever they are, by using language against innocent, unsuspecting, literally clueless humans, meaning Gentiles and also Israelites, that somehow these white people are just always up to no good. And so the effect that's had is that now these groups, that the fake Israelites, these Jews that are Edomites, created to keep everybody divided and literally put up these firewalls in between each other, so the communication is just non-existent. And even if you do try to communicate, the global population's been so brainwashed on how we view each other, and the way they were able to incubate, to create what we call race relations. But it always, when you look in modern, the modern era, what do they always do? They take these stories of these individuals that have been slighted, mistreated, denied their ability to take care of themselves. And this all comes at the hands of the white person. Now, with that being said, let's slow down. What I want to do is I want to start off and I want to go over again Exodus chapter 23. And this speaks of slander and false witness and of justice. So thou shalt not raise a false report. Put not thy hand with the wicked to be an unrighteous witness. Now, what do I always tell you people out there in the fairy tale land known as social media? When you believe a lie, you begin to live a lie. Now, this one example would be this community watch down here in Rosarito Beach, Mexico. That's all based off of me, that I'm somehow crazy, the crazy criminal that needs to be looked after. While this shadowy group called the Mexican cartel runs amok, causing problems, but yet the individuals that have been roped into the so-called community watch, their actions, their behavior is all based off of lies. And we're going to get to that here shortly. So let's continue. So now we're on verse 2, Exodus chapter 23. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil. Very important, folks. Let's repeat that. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment. Now, very difficult as we try to be sensitive to one another's emotions. Our life experiences cause us to have these sensitivities, and you may have been around someone in your life that maybe speaks, off the cuff or out of hand, and they might not really have meant what the meaning of how it's perceived by the receiver is not probably the way the sender intended. But what happens is this becomes it's the herd mentality. And this can be used actually for good too, I imagine. But more often than not, it's used for a very nefarious purpose. So once you see someone participating in something and they're benefiting from it, well, it becomes a monkey see, monkey do type thing where, hey, in my case, I'm one American here in Mexico because my son's mom is from here. And, these people that I live around, they have no loyalty or anything. They don't care about me. They just, look, here's the deal, people, for you so-called Americans. The rest of the globe has always looked at you as a piggy bank because that's what America's been presented as, this bastion of freedom where you can come and be free. You can create a life for yourself, have wealth, which it all boils back down to the money. And it's exactly the opposite. It's the big lie. Now, yes, if we look back, sure, there's post-World War II, you can see the past maybe 3-4 generations of people that, lived their lives truthfully, honestly. They treated the people they came in contact with respect, and they were able to enjoy a peaceful existence. But is this all the smokescreen that these Satanists are able to create to give the rest of the globe this notion that if you come here to this location, that automatically, your chances of success just increase exponentially? But is that the case? So let's slow down again. Neither shalt thou countenance a poor man in his cause. If thou meet thy enemy's ox or his ass going astray, thou shalt surely bring it back to him again. If thou see the ass of him that hateth thee lying under his burden, and wouldest forbear to help him, thou shalt surely help with him. Thou shalt not wrest the judgment of thy poor in his cause. Keep thee far from a false matter. Keep thee far from a false matter. Exodus chapter 23, verse 7. Keep thee far from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay thou not, for I will not justify the wicked. And we will close on verse 8. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise and perverteth the words of the righteous. So this would be some medicine, some tough love for these gang stalker types out there. And let's look at this situation now. So to understand all that, you have to have read Scripture and read it in a way to where you're not just reading it to tell somebody, oh yeah, I read the Bible, I know all about it. It's you're trying to understand something. Why is Scripture part of our existence? And should we pay attention and follow the guidance and instruction within this Scripture? So most of us know by now that Daniel's 70th week is upon us, the tribulation. It will be the judgment of all judgments, where all people, nations, the whole multitude of earth will be judged on how they conducted themselves. Now, here is where we find our first problem, and this is how these Edomite, Jew, fake wannabe Israelites have been able to create this brainwashing, this train of thinking, this way of thinking, is that this is always an ongoing situation. And in particular, we find the Catholic religion, and we'll lump Jehovah's in there. And look, it's more complicated than this, but they essentially steer clear of all prophecy. They might, read it, but they won't explain it. So when you in your mind convinced yourself that I do not need to be very cautious about what I am doing, what I say and do, that this is just going to be an ongoing situation and I need to survive and get through this, you need to stop. And hopefully someone comes into your existence to give you information to change your mind. So now with that being said, let's take a look at this. And one of the aspects of surviving the original MK Ultra, surviving satanic ritual abuse, and a lot of other very nasty things that may have been done, is you will at some point either just, I guess the reason why I can't find people in my position, in my age group, is that they were unable to look towards the Creator, the Elohim, the Holy One of Israel, the Almighty God, the Ancient of Days, the Most High, that they, even in their lowest point, they could not understand that the reason why they are still alive is because of these divine beings. Because there may be a singular divine being that is, they say the big brother. Well, who is really the big brother? Okay. Now, the point I want to get to is yesterday, they, meaning these American Nazi Satanists, were in a frenzy. And all I did was walk off, and I was looking for an individual that had helped me recently with some work, and that was my first goal in mind, and the other one was just to go into the canyon to find peace and get away from the stalkers. All right, then the community watch. Some of you might know what I mean, because what the first thing they want to do is take away your peace of mind, and that's what maybe some of these satanic ritual abuse survivors that were a generation ahead of me. I don't get it. And it has a lot to do with social media and the censorship. But why am I still on YouTube? Why am I still doing this? Because no one gives a fuck. There's a small group, again, that somehow stumbled upon my channel, and they kind of get what I'm telling them. So I want to slow down real quick right now, and I want to let's do this. Because what happens is, all right, when you listen to some of the stories out there on YouTube, and you wonder, how did these people find themselves in this position? The one thing they can't do is they can't tell you why. It's all vague testimony. And for me, I went a long time not understanding what was done to me as a child. So what I want to do is I will explain this once again, real quick. Bear with me, people. I am trying to find something here that I want to go over, and it's coming, so hang on. Please hang on, everybody. I'm trying not to get wound up today. And where are we? Okay. Now, everybody hears about how I talk about Uncle Carl. Now, this is the only known public picture of this individual that is specifically identifies him as Carl Henry Lindner. Now, if you look on his pinky, there's a ring. You see he's in an office. This picture was extracted from a 2014 article in the Cincinnati Herald, which is located in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that's where he had set up shop. But the bugaboo is this particular individual who I discovered is my great-grandfather's older brother. Now, he would have been born in 1875. And this picture is from 1940. Now, my family just outright denies this. They don't even want to hear about it. In fact, if I mention this guy's name, they start shaking in their boots. Now, the United States government, the United States American Nazi government, will deny this fact. But here's how I base my, well, I call it opinion, whatever you want to do. But what happened is I discovered my family was ran out of Bavaria, Germany in 1868. You could, come up with a lot of reasons when you understand history, what was taking place in Germany at that time. And they would have been one family out of possibly hundreds or thousands. Now, one would ask themselves that's a really big leap. In 1868, you're going to leave what would have been there, pristine, God-given country. It kind of still is, even after all the wars, that these people would pick up their families and want to come to the United States. What was going wrong back then? And I'll just sum it up. Were these families God-fearing Christians? And if you understand the dynamic with the Catholic religion, the Jesuits, all these things that are thrown at us, which means nothing now. It's nice to know this history and get some details. But again, we're coming into a time where these details no longer matter. We got to cut to the chase and make sure our salvation is it's insured, and we're not going to let go of it. So the point is, his father picked up his family at the time, which would have been four children, and they showed up on Long Island, New York, at a place called Washington Square, which is now called Hempstead, New York. And when you do research about this area during that time, literally, they would have been one of 5 families that had moved into this area, and they took over large tracts of land. They were all farmers. And this individual was born in New York, okay? And he was the 6th of 10 children. And then his younger brother was the 7th, my great-grandfather, Paul William Frederick Lindner. Now, what happens is, with this shadowy group you people call the Illuminati, and we'll just call them Satanists. That's what they are. These Edomite Jew fake Israelites that want to claim the Israelite heritage after they spit on it. This is what this is all about, one aspect of it. What they do is they had put, we know that this plan's been in motion for a long time. It's very complex to try to encapsulate in a short video, but to somehow sum it up is that these families that left Germany were being hassled, and when they left, they were not going to be forgotten. And in my case, my family, whoever these shadowy Satanists are at that time, and they already would have been camped out in the United States. There's a notion that we know the Freemasons are involved. It's like a layer cake, and they're fudged in there. And there's a notion that this individual had said by around the 1830 or 1840s, Europe was sending their Freemasons over to the United States to somehow get to these women that were part of these Christian families. And what's the word that I'm looking for? They want to corrupt them. They want to corrupt them and lead them, to a path to Moloch, simply put. And so what they do too with the males of these families, they look for the most vulnerable individual. Now, when I say Uncle Carl, he's my grandfather's uncle. So this individual may have been stumbling around in the late 1800s, not quite sure what he was going to do with his life. And what they do is they place people around you to guide you and groom you to steal your salvation and have you become part of this satanic sphere of influence that will lead you eventually to unimaginable success, which obviously involves money. So he didn't start off thinking, because his father, George Lindner, would have taught all his children of what went on in Germany and why they were in America. Now, back to what I was saying, how I figured this out. I have an 1880 census form that specifically shows when this family arrived into America, their ages, and who was with them. And he, as I said, he was the 6th of 10 children, and my great-grandfather was the 7th. So you're going to get this dynamic of these two brothers, it seems like, because the rest of the family, they went on and lived their lives being civic leaders, and this is demonstrated through newspaper articles. I have a lot of them. But what happened is I was able to figure out where every single individual ended up at, meaning the cemeteries, what happened to them, except for him and the youngest, an individual called Frederick Lindner. Those are the only two I can't figure out. He seems to have disappeared from New York, but all of a sudden magically appears in a place called Norwood, Ohio. Now, amazingly so, when you look at the genesis of Washington Square, Long Island, how it became Hempstead, but it was also, there was a small tract of land in there, I guess, that was a small village called Norwood. So now they have this individual set up in Ohio. And he would go from rags to riches. Now, here's the thing. They want to say that Carl Henry Lindner, that if anybody Googled him, Wikipedia'd him, they want to say this guy was actually junior and born in 1919, April 22nd, 1919. Now, if that's the case, how'd this asshole avoid not getting drafted for World War II? Well, you tell me, people. So how did I find myself in this situation concerning MKUltra, satanic ritual abuse, and these implants, folks, which nobody has? Nobody. They're all dead. The ones that have them are gone. I can't find anybody. And none of you people want to help me try to find any of these people on social media because they probably don't exist. And that's why you're not allowed to watch me. But this individual became probably one of the, if not the highest ranking Satanist in the United States. Now here you see an article where it says, and it was, 1942, where Lindner gets a loan to start his big milk delivery service. Rags to riches. That's what these people do, folks. And they're not people, all right? These are hardcore evil Satanists. And again, their number one tool in their toolbox is a pack of lies. And they create these stories. They even come up, they create these fake names, the whole 9 yards, folks. And it becomes such a complex lie, and that's why the top guys, you don't see them. They won't be the president or vice president or secretary of state. That's below them. That's beneath them. The Bushes, all that, these types, the Nixons, the Fords, on and on and on and on. Clinton, all right? They're just the lackeys for these people. So this guy never ages, okay? Here's a picture of him in 1965, I think. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but here's the bottom line. When you see this guy we know who this is, okay? You can start to put two and two together. Now, again, every single person on earth that is in an authority position and can do anything to affect or help me will deny the fact of what I'm saying and who this person is and how he's connected to me. And look, he when he died on my birthday, October 17th, 2011, at age 136, he was literally the 133rd richest man in the world, all right? These people in Ohio are swimming in money, but it all came at the hands of a lot of evil. And I was the last person in my family, because he controlled literally 100 years of these individuals that these Satanists could not allow to become adults, God-fearing Christian adults that will stand in the way of these Satanists. See, here's the thing too, people. You think there's whistleblowers and people trying to fix this. No. Look, it's the fourth quarter and we're at the 2-minute warning. All right? The real people, they killed off most of the real white Israelite people. That's what MK Ultra, that's what trauma-based mind control is about. And yes, there's other aspects to it, the brainwashing and all that, to create the Manchurian Candidate, on and on. But the underlying premise was to destroy the rest of the people connected to the Abrahamic blood link. You got to get this through your heads, folks. And no one's going to tell you this because they can't. They're all frauds doing these Hollywood-esque video productions on social media. And that's all you people think is worth watching. So let's slow down again. Here he is with Milken, all right? Most of you got no clue what I'm talking about. So let's slow down. So, let's see. What we're going to do now is I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And I want to get back to this community watch that we've all been hearing about in the United States. And these Benedict Arnolds, that they're sellouts with selling out their neighbors, being snitches. It's out of control in the United States. And the people that tried to stand up and stop it, all right, they're long gone. Long gone, people. Because once you step in this arena, you better be prepared to be attacked and be brought down to your knees. Okay, let's look. Let's slow down. Where are we at? Let's keep going. Hang on, people. I know. All right, well, let's just slow down real quick. I'm going to try to go through these pictures because the iPad's almost dead. Now, when you look at these pictures of myself, which I have hundreds of these type of pictures where I'm surrounded by orbs. I get woken up in the middle of the night, and the one location that they hate me being at and they've been able to buy off one of the family members to try to worm their way in, I will be woken up in the middle of the night, and this is what I get, folks. My head, ears pulsating, sweating. It's just, it's a hell of a thing. I don't want to even get into the more descriptive problems that this causes. So when you see that, you can clearly see that I may have been put through satanic rituals. So what ended up happening is, with these Satanists, that they got so out of control. We know that the original MK Ultra was exposed around 72. And that's when there was real whistleblowers, real men and women that tried to step up, but they were eliminated. But what they did is they had the Satanists have to put their brakes on and slow down with the rape, torture, and destruction of these children connected to the Abrahamic blood link, the ancient Israelites. This is what this is all about. And you could keep dreaming that this pie in the sky false reality is going to continue with your money, 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 and your stuff. So what happened was they weren't going to kill off these now adults that were put through these satanic rituals, put through MK Ultra, trauma-based mind control. They're not going to be able to get rid of all of them because some of them have the hand of God on them. And that's who these sad sack Satanists, these creepy chameleon Canaanites, look for. Now, unfortunately, me being born in 66, I believe the generation before me is all gone. Or else, they just ended up living a life of cowardice, and maybe, they had to go to the other side, because standing up to these Satanists is not easy, folks. They have all the resources, the money, and the lies to ensure that the individual that's speaking up is contained, at least to a point where they can run around and slander the individual. And in Mexico, unfortunately, there's already a dynamic where most Mexicans, look, America's only a piggy bank, folks. I don't know if you understand that. All the money, most of it comes back to Mexico. And look, it doesn't matter where you're from. The other countries do this too. The Filipinos are a large contingent. Look, this is one of the reasons why, if there ever was America, why it's going to collapse and they cannot keep this system afloat, is because it's all the money. I mean, it's by design to collapse it, but the money doesn't stay in the United States. I don't know if you get that. So the point is the Mexicans, they already feel that the white people stole their land. They still don't get over that. And they feel that they've been brainwashed, like most people, like African Americans, people of color, and every other so-called minority, which is a very horrible term. These are what are good humans. Gentiles can be good humans, but these, again, the Edomite, Jew, fake Israelites have brainwashed everybody to think that, yes, the white person has held all you back and you can't get ahead. That's why you have terms such as nepotism, such as affirmative action, these type of things that these fake Israelites, these Edomite Jews, they do. They have, look, it's amazing how they were able to get away with all this for all this time. So here, let me slow down again because I'm getting off track. Try not to get wound up. So what they had to do with all these individuals like myself that they couldn't kill off, they were going to have a damage control program put into place to muddy the waters and make it look like, oh, everybody's being targeted. Everybody. And yes, right now you can probably say that. But the one aspect that we're going to focus on is the phony baloney targeted individual community. Now, if you looked at just from 2010 Okay, when I think this is when it was all incubated, the the disinfo agents were flooding on social media, meaning YouTube, Facebook first, and then once that outlasted, they had to start creating everything else, Rumble, TikTok, BitChute, all right, to even muddy the waters further. But they needed to put this in place to literally kind of just sweep aside the real testimony of a satanic ritual abuse survivor. And if you were put through this and you're alive, you can start piecing this together. And if you are trying to, in such a very delicate situation as trying to just protect yourself, defend yourself, you're going to share some of this information. These other ones can't, folks. You get vague testimony. Now, this little creepy, whatever, chameleon Canaanite hybrid freak, post-World War II hybrid freak known as Badger, right? Who's long gone, folks. What do all you reptilian shapeshifter numbnuts talk about with electromagnetic distortion? Everything. Why would this fucking monster, this Frankenstein, look like that? Pretending to be something he's not. All right? Do you get this? Is it sinking in yet? So let's look at this. Because my iPad's not working again. So look at this picture of Pence. All right? Look, we know that these freaks exist. Okay? We know these freaks exist. And their goal was to wipe out every single person connected to the Abrahamic blood link, the ancient Israelites. And so what they do, look at her eyes. Come on, people. Now look at her and look, who's this? I know you all love her, all right? Come on. You gotta wake up, people, because if you don't know what you're looking at, isn't she very intelligent, warm, friendly, has a lot of information, right? A lot of information, right, folks? Now, here's one of the most egregious individuals known to the phony, targeted individual community. And if you look at his last couple of videos, this numbskull, he's showing off his Boy Scout memorabilia. I mean, it's getting so bad, folks. They've all ran out of tricks. This if you're on social media claiming to be a targeted individual and there's this mysterious targeting program, you got to screw loose. You're missing something, all right? If you're being hassled, harassed, it's because you have an Abrahamic blood link, plain and simple. Or the hand of God has somehow found you. You found grace in the eyes of the Holy One, the Ancient of Days, Adonai. Let's, get with the program. And look, he can't believe it. But positive Paul, I can't believe you're still hanging around. Why couldn't we get rid of you, positive Paul? Mike Barden. Now, most of you assholes think that anybody has the slit eye is a reptilian. And I don't get these goofballs that are on these, only a few these channels left that try to get into this subject of the shape-shifting. It's all the same numbskulls in the comments section with these childlike comments. I don't get it. And look, this is so bad. If America has, let's just, for argument's sake, 300 million people, let's say 150 million are under 18 children, really unable, they don't know much, and the other half are adults that should be open-minded, thinking, caring, thoughtful humans, that if there's only, it seems, less than 100 people that show up on these people's channels, we're in big trouble, folks, because that means one or two things. That this small group that think that they've figured something out and they've dodged these Satanists, or aren't for real, or we have a whole entire nation asleep. They don't want to hear about it. And that's probably the case. Now, with that being said, I don't lump all you in the same basket. If you listen to me, I say that. But see, if I don't present this way, it won't sink in. See, I don't even care who's watching me at this point. This video is to prosecute the Satanist. It's going to go on YouTube. And YouTube has no choice but to censor my videos, because if more people had picked up on me around, say, 2016 and were allowed to watch me, they would have understand, and I would have been able to bring more people to the notion that, hey, our Heavenly Father is nigh. I'm not going to risk my salvation trying to play these Mickey Mouse games on the internet, pretending to be something I'm not, and working against the Holy Spirit. That's what these assholes are doing. It's just amazing. So remember, hybrid or human, a choice or threat for mankind. Now remember, see these Edomite Jews, the fake Israelites, when you see all these well-produced videos and these people, what's his one name? This guy's Moggins, but Freeman, another one. How's that guy? He's hanging around with Tex Mars, and look, a lot of them are all long gone. How do these people get around these people to interview them? Who's connecting who to who? So again, let's look at Bisagio. So again, back to the reptilian shapeshifters, these numbnuts that say, oh, everybody with the reptilian slit eyes, of the devil. You dumb fucks, what'd I tell you? There were children, little boys and girls put through satanic rituals. And if you don't know about that, you don't know what happens to these children. And if some of them survived, would they maybe somehow display these attributes? You dumb fucks. You money penny types. Look, I see you people, man. It's just like, I'm like, where do they come from? Okay? They try to come off like they know it. They got something figured out. But none of them, they're nameless, faceless, dopey comment perps put there by these American Nazi Satanists that are going to run America into the ground, and you're all going to be out of a job soon. There ain't going to be no more dopey comments on YouTube or wherever else you people show up. Alex, baby Jabba the Hutt. And I noticed, see what Alex does now for the past 6 months? When you watch his transmissions, he has orbs flying around on his monitors. See, he knows who I am, and he knows that he's a done deal. He's talking a good game. Maybe he did get on his knees and say, Father, please save one Edomite. Please. Man, Alex, I tell you, well, you got balls, buddy. I'll give you that. Because if you're still dealing with these Satanists and still you're coming on social media, you're coming on all your platforms that you have, right? You're the tip of the spear fighting the globalist. Man, if you don't got this right, Alex, oh man, it's going to be, again, here's what hell will look like. Imagine the heat. Imagine the noise. Imagine a million little pinpricks all day long, demons torturing you. Get that through your thick head. So, again, why do we do this? How do we even get to this? Why? I tell you what, I wish, again, I wish I could just do a spaghetti recipe. I got a couple good ones. I know you would enjoy that. So look, these numbskulls, all of them, they're all frauds. They're all of them, all right? Every single last one of them. Crocodile Dundee. See, look, oh, there we go. Crocodile Dundee. And it's so funny to see James from ECETI. He's always just like, it's just amazing. There she is. Numbnuts, Flores, this Joker. And there's our pal. There's our pal, Richard Bruce. They had to, he told us back in November he's done with YouTube. And now he's been back, man. They look, see, once you get in knee deep with these Satanists, there is no getting out. Jubilina, man, I tell you, you're a mystery to me, but you're still hanging around, so I hope you're okay. Satanic. This is one of the frauds with his buddies, Matrix and Plackinger and the other ones, pretending to be a targeted individual, a fraud sent in there to gather information. Again, for you reptilian shapeshifter types out there. I love this one. Lucifer with the fallen angel. Okay, so now let's see, here's what I wanted to get to. Now, when the satanic ritual abuse survivor lives, they're going to want to try to witness to people and testify about their situation. And some of these people, like myself, I've got no criminal record, nothing. I mean, they can make stuff up, right? They can create fake documents, do whatever. The thing with the Mexicans is their language is very direct. But when you talk about someone being framed, an entrapment scheme, a setup, they don't get that, you know? And that's part of the problem. I don't blame that aspect on them not understanding. It's just this dynamic. But with me, they needed to somehow set me up, only, I assume, to get the Mexicans on board with the surveillance, to keep an eye on me and harass me. So what they did, the easiest way that over time, all right, the number one setup that they can easily do is set somebody up in a stolen car. Now, affectionately, I call this shadowy group, which look, man, they're in so much trouble. It's not even funny. The Rosarito Beach Camaro Clown Club. But that's not just specifically located in Rosarito Beach. You'll see them in San Diego, San Felipe, Ensenada, San Diego. Wherever I would go, they got to start this shit up, all right? And it costs them tens of thousands of dollars to find these individuals that have Camaros, and actually some of them get given Camaros to play this like silly psychological, game with me, which from the day one doesn't bother me. I'm just like, wow, they're doing all this to somehow shut me up, and now it's 7 years later. So the actual setup, the event, all right, the cartels is always involved in this, okay? Because look, the American Nazis control the cartel. I don't know if you people understand that. But here's the thing, okay? They use these people to create the setup, and then what they do with them is they kill them, they murder them. I have evidence that the cartel person that was the main guy in this setup to try to get me involved in this stolen car caper, which, look, I know nothing about. I was just with these assholes that moved next to me, and they for years prior to the event were trying to get me to do crazy stuff, and I would just laugh at them. See, they move these types around you, and their only job is to get you in trouble. Now, again, I have no criminal record or nothing. The actual event is now over 8 years old. And at least 2 years prior to that, they were working on creating a event or this event. So what happens is it's all compartmentalized, and the American Nazis, they use whoever they can use. And I wish I could get to these cartel types and try to help them. But unfortunately, the couple that got involved with me, all right, to get this setup going, they're dead. They were murdered. And I have enough proof, all right, physical proof that was in the newspapers, in the online articles that show what happened. So what they did is they needed a high profile car. Now, Camaro is a very high profile car, right? These are very expensive cars, right? So what these assholes do, and the first, I picked up on it around August of 2017, my first picture. Now, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to put some fresh stuff in there, but this is just a smidge, a taste, a small smattering, all right? Just a primer of what I have from the iPhones. But I actually have a camera, all right, with over 6,000 pictures on it, going from 2016 leading up to the end of 2020 when they were able to still one of the cameras. But I took the SD card out, and I have, all right, plenty of other pictures on that camera. Then I've got my GoPro. So the ones I'm showing you now are just coming off the iPhone. But what they do is they drive around these Camaros whenever I hit the streets to try to somehow psychologically, what remind me that, ooh, I was part of this big stolen car caper. That to this day, no one's ever questioned me about, because it's all phony baloney. All right? All this is just one tool to try to contain me and shut me up concerning these Satanists, concerning my MK Ultra, satanic ritual abuse, and these implants. See, what happens is, if they took me to court, they're first going to give me a proper medical exam. And once these implants, all right, once that's all said and done and we document that, all bets are off, folks. So these Mexicans, they love it, man. They're literally, look, they spend hundreds of thousands a month to create these perp houses. So you have the frontline Satanists that come down, all right? They're going to be people that pretend to be retirees. They probably would be American, maybe British. They will just outright lie to the Mexicans, okay, to get them on board with all this. So you have the initial Satanists that are camped out down here, and they control the Satanists that are still working in the FBI and CIA, and they create all this phony, fake evidence, okay? And they present it to the Mexicans saying, hey, look, this person's under investigation. He was part of this big caper, And you would think by now, 8 years later, someone would question me. What kind of asshole investigator doesn't even question an individual about whether or not he was involved or she involved in a crime? Only a dumb fuck, ignorant individual that doesn't know better, and their mommies and daddies didn't teach them anything. All they know is they're going to get hungry in the morning, and they need food, and they need money, and they don't care how they get it. Now, look, I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please tell me that, look, you don't know what you're talking about. But none of these people, they run and hide from me. So here I am. This was November 28th, 2021. I'm entering the neighborhood. What they do is they have these perp safe houses, and some of the neighbors that have been bought off, they cover the exits. They give them security systems to if I slip away, to try to figure out which way I went. And of course, look, they can catch up with me with these implants. It doesn't matter. But it's still, they don't want me talking and witnessing to these people here in Mexico. It's just bizarre. So what they do is there's communication. There is text messages being received, phone calls to get these people positioned in the right spot. So when I drive by, this numbnuts in the perp safe house is pulling out, okay? But what do you see? What do I talk about? I talk about the mark, that little black, that in this particular picture doesn't look like much, but what they do is it doesn't matter. Here, when I was up in San Diego, back on December 1st, 2021, I went into a CVS to get stuff for my son, and I come out, and lo and behold, look what's there, a Camaro, just out of nowhere, folks. And that same day, they had they got 4 of these numbnuts up in San Diego just to drive by me. How ignorant is that? Who would do that? Who would be involved in this? Well, a very clueless individual that, hey, the truth don't matter. All that matters is the money, 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 money. I got money. Look at my stuff. Look how great I am. I'm driving a Camaro. So let's continue. I know, I'm going to drive you all crazy. So some of the, I've explained this one too. This is a classic example of what they tried to do. It doesn't happen often nowadays. This is from 2019. To pull off these stunts, it takes a bunch of these stalker types, all right? They have to first figure out where I'm going to end up at and then position these people. So here's some perp spotter bitch, because most of them, they're only good for spotters. They we know you hear about the street theater and this and that, but look, down here, it's just like they don't have it, all right? These, I hate to say it, man, they're only good to peek out their window when they receive the text message. Remember how things work, folks. With all that goes on in these countries, with all the crime, they can only respond after the fact. So here you have the perp bitch signaling to these guys that were parked down the street, okay, he's coming, get ready. And you see all the spotter cars are marked with 3366 on their license plates. What they do, they'll find these plates, all these people that drive these cars, all right, in Mexico with these Mexican plates, none of them are the plates probably don't even belong to the vehicles, because what they do is they switch these plates around. It's just bizarre, folks. So the perp bitch, I got her. Look at her. She's wincing. She knows she's on camera. And there's the Camaro. There's the Camaro. How about that? Just like that, folks. Just like that. So what they do is they'll park it. When they know I'm coming down a certain area, they will park these Camaros right in my path so I can hopefully see them. Now, here's the thing, too. As many as I can capture, these eggheads aren't that smart. There are plenty of times when they would be hanging around, but they just can't sync up. All right. Ooh, the artificial intelligence can't get them in position in time. I see this being the case because if they were that smart, I would be locked up in jail right now. These assholes. All right. So here we go. Now we're in the neighborhood. And the reason why I'm doing this is, look, the neighbors have all been bought off, but they're like mostly old people and they can only be like spotters, they're not, it's like, man, why would these people that have been hiding in their houses their whole life, scared of the cartel, they would never report the cartel, because why? What would happen? The cartel would probably burn their house down. Or what they would do is they would find them on the street when they sneak out of their house to go to the store and get food. They would have an unfortunate accident. Get it through you dickheads. These phonies. So yeah, so there they are, it doesn't matter. Here's one, San Felipe, okay? And I've seen him in Rosarito too, so I got a match there. And let's see. Yeah, they're all over the place, folks. How I don't look for these. I'm just walking around trying to mind my business, witness to people about the power of my Heavenly Father and His Son, my Savior, Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, the one and only. And look, we're supposed to spend our time wisely, folks. These eggheads driving these Camaros around everywhere. Now, this is interesting. What they do is they try to get me pinned down in these projects. These people that try to help me with work. But it's only to keep me pinned down in one location and also mock me and hassle me. And so I've gone through these scenarios now. Like I said, I'm in the 7th year of hardcore stalking, harassment, surveillance, and the slander campaign. And it's taken them years, but now, all right, they really have done some damage. It's hard. I can't get through to anybody now because whenever I try to make a move and I feel like I'm connecting with someone, they find a way to destroy that relationship. But again, here I am in my truck, which I sold. They kept running me off the road, putting nails in my tire, sabotaging it. And so now I've basically been on foot for about 2 years. My son's mom has a car, but I don't really drive it that much because it brings on more problems. And so now I'm happy. Hey, gas can be $20 a gallon. I could give a shit. All right. Get used to it. This is what you people are going to be facing. So we know the authorities are all involved with these Camaro Clown Club stalkers. And here is one of the neighborhood Camaro Clown Club stalkers who's since gone. This is a 2017 snapshot where what they hope is that when I'm walking along, I'm going to get mad and do something violent, okay, to where the cops will show up right behind them and they can arrest me. But they haven't been smart enough to even pull off one of these stunts and make it work. They did. One time, I took a picture of one of these Camaro Clown Club stalkers, and what they did, it was a setup. And the guy followed me back to my house, and I tell you what, he got out of his car and I came at him and he ran away from me, but the cops pulled up and they arrested me and kept me in jail for like about 4 hours until, my son's mom came in and finally bailed me out with some, they got their money. That's what it's all about. And it's sad because people down here, the average daily pay is less than $20. I don't know if you people understand how the rest of the world works. And look, again, if I was in China, I would be talking about the issues there. If I was in South America, the issues there, but I'm not. I'm in Mexico. So you got the Camaro Clown Club stalker, the corrupt police, and the trail vehicle. They always, look, because they're cowards, they have to work in packs of gang stalkers like hyenas. One in the neighborhood, look, I got nothing against these people. If I see them on the street crying, sad, hungry, I will help them. But they don't know better because they just know that some authority came to them and said, "Oh, we need to." But don't worry about the cartel. We're going to let them rape, torture, kill, flood drugs into the United States because the American Nazis allow that. Do you get how this works? Really? Wake the fuck up, people. And what they'll do, here I'm in a taxi, and one came speeding by. You can't see it, but it's one of those white Camaros. Going to the mall to get a Little Caesars pizza for my son. And there they are, waiting. Okay? And here's another one. Some of them actually have jobs. This is some teacher that, they don't really use this person anymore. Because they have a real job. Like, why would you want to get involved in these Mickey Mouse criminal schemes, harassment schemes? Why would you want to be involved in that? because you don't know any better. That's why. Or else it's just about the money, because the truth don't matter. You keep that in mind, people. The truth never matters. Now, this individual here is knee deep. It's one of the original Camaro Clown Club stalkers. And I got nothing against these people. Again, I see them actually on a weekly basis, and they're still doing the same thing. These people were given cars. These people had houses built for them, houses repaired, remodeled, all to be a part. This all came from blood money to get involved with a satanic ritual abuse survivor of the highest order. And what they do now is they put their heads down. And like I said, most of them just run. When they see me coming, they know I'm going to question them. Now, how do you think these poor-ass Mexicans would hold up under a deposition, under cross-examination? What do you think, people? Really, what do you think? So the neighbors are all involved, and it's just a sad thing. Here's another one. Now, this individual, what they do is they give them businesses. This one has one of the money change stores, and this Camaro's been in action since the beginning. This is an older picture, but there he is. There, right there, two of them. Two Camaros, right? This is back in 1718. The two would always be parked there. It's such a vaudeville act, you know? What a vaudeville act. Okay. Here I am. See, the one neighbor next door, he got involved. And what he does is he pretends to work on these cars, and he'll drive them up to the house when they know that I'm there or if I'm outside. So this time, I forced him to take a picture of me inside the Camaro, and he did. Oh, man, these assholes. Now, again, this is the perp safe house where you saw the first black Camaro come out of. And this guy, I've had a talk with him too, and I go, you know more Camaros, right? Some of them are picking up on, wow, why is this guy still hanging around? They don't get it. They don't get it, man. It's bizarre, folks. Okay. Here I am driving to Tijuana with these characters I was working with last year. Camaros driving by. How do they, you can't see it, but there he is. I was outside on break right there. But the guy, look, this individual, his name's Fernando. I like him. He don't want to be a stalker. These people get roped into this. But how this works is, okay, I was working with these guys, trying to work. They get me in these positions just to tie me down and play games. So here we are driving back from Tijuana. The Camaros will always have a trail vehicle in back and behind, but usually it will be a white truck or some type of a Jeep, Cherokee type vehicle. But again, these stalkers work in groups because they're cowards. If something does happen, they can pretend to be witnesses saying, oh yeah, he beat the guy up. You see how this works, people? Look, these creeps right there. Another one, guy again, driving. He's seen this. We talked about it. I don't see what you're talking about. See, the first thing you do when you're part of the community watch, what they teach you is how to lie and then play stupid. This is what America's come to, folks. So when I'm showing you this, I'm in Mexico, understand America's long gone. It's all Benedict Arnold's. And what, you're going to come and finally make a comment on my channel and tell me, oh, you're wrong, Paul. Now, their license plates are all coded. They'll have the 3366 or the 7s. And what's interesting is, here's Ensenada, taking my son to La Bufadora, these hot springs. you know, for his birthday or whatever. And hey, there they are, you know, different town, different place, you know, hundreds of miles away, but there they are, folks. The Camaro Clown Club stalkers. These are all Ensenada shots. There's another one with the Tijuana with Fernando. I like Fernando though. He's a good guy. I know he wants to do good. Here, right by my local shopping center with the security guard right there. Okay. Driving by again. Okay. Now, what I wanted to show you is this guy. See, they changed their plates. Here he has American plates, but what he was able to do is get the car registered in Mexico now. And again, the one individual, he doesn't get involved anymore because I keep busting his chops about it. And but see what they do? They park the Camaro. This is how blatantly creepy this is. They'll park the Camaro right by the house, and when I walk out, I have to see it. These freaks. So here we are, the streets that have no name. And I've explained this before. The reason why I call the streets that have no name is because there's no street signs. But since I've been saying this, they're putting street signs up all over Rosarito the past couple of years. Here we are, August 5th, 2020, the same guy. But again, with the CIA perp safe house where they got syndicate businesses there that all can be activated to be stalkers and you know, do criminal activities, but they actually have real jobs, you know, dentist, pharmacist, all that, folks. You know how it works. You've been explained this. Here they are, driving again, driving down, right there. At the mall, there they are. Doing my segunda, there they are. At the House of Cambio, you know, pretending they're trying to sell a Camaro. There they are. Again, at the perp, you know, money change house. There they are. A lot of white Camaros. I don't know where. Oh, here's a good one. Two yellow ones, folks. Look at that. 2 yellow ones. How about that, man? These guys are pretty slick, aren't they? These Camaro Clown Club stalkers. There they are. As I was going into the pharmacy, they beat me to it. There he is. There he is. Oh, man. And just think, again, all right, with this setup, you would think the Mexicans by now would say, fuck this, man. We gotta stop this. And see, what they want really is they just want the foreigners to come here and spend money and then get the fuck out of their town, go home. We only need you here to spend your money and then you go back where you came from. Okay. I was sent back in time in order to murder Jesus. Okay, let's these assholes. Now what I want to show you, remember with these hybrids, the original hybrid group from 47 to 60. Look at Plackenger's fingers, the graying, all right? These ghoulish creatures that use this technology illuminate their skin. If you saw them, actually what they look like, they'd be just gray ghoulish, you know, hence the gray alien, folks. That's what they look like. Yeah, these characters. Look at Chuck Missler, man. Well, Chuck. Hell of a guy, let me tell you. All right. Let's look. Here's a Camaro Clown Club stalker in San Diego trying to cover their face. These freaks. Now, this is my great-grandfather's mother, Barbara Lindner. Here, this article shows that she was born on August 18th in Baurich, Germany, which is Bavaria, 1861. And then she had married one of the other got married into one of the other families that were out there in Washington Square in Long Island. But she knew what happened to her son Charles. And she probably just said, hey, we tried, just we did what we could and he made his choice. So yeah. So here's, what I was able to figure out from the census form. Okay. There's Charles. They say he died in 1940. All right. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. There's Yodel after he signed the truce. Operation Paperclip Scientist. There. See, now what they did with my great-grandfather, I told you this already. After he fought these Satanists, tried to stop the Federal Reserve from being created with his associates, this is going back early 1900s. In around 1922, at age 47, he got involved with the Ku Klux Klan. And I guarantee you these assholes that are from the Ku Klux Klan back then and now, they're the same Edomite, Jew, white, fake, wannabe Israelites. Hey, look, man, if you really knew the depth of the duplicitness, the deception, oh, man. Now, this is his son, my grandfather, Noel Dwight Linder, Navy chaplain, friend of James Forrestal. He knows what was going on, and that's why they took him out. Gave him a heart attack on August 8th, 1961. He knows all about his uncle, Uncle Carl. See, his younger brother got labeled a racist, but he worked for racial unity. And his buddies, these lazy lying lizards, all right, all of them, you don't even know what you're looking at, people. Don't even know what you're looking at. Some of you do. Now let's talk about this. This is one of the lawyers. What they do with these lawyers that get involved with me, he was used to start reignite the slander campaign against my great-grandfather, labeling him a racist. And because he was a real estate developer in the early 1900s, he has places where the streets are his name. Well, they just recently spent 2 years and they used these high school students in Malvern, New York, to remove the street sign that was where a school was located. Now, I don't know if these assholes realize you got one street sign removed. What about the rest? You're not that smart. All right. So what happens is this Pupke character, he's been in hot water his whole life. All right. This lawyer was disciplined by a state licensing authority. I'm going to get in more detail with this scumbag because, see, he wrote me and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to save this. But what they do is these lawyers get their license yanked. In order to get back in the good graces of these Satanists, they'll be required to get involved with satanic ritual abuse survivors, in this case, me. So this Pupke guy, to try to continue to have his money, be able to feed his ugly ass, he got involved with me. And it was a big mistake because now he's cursed like the rest of them. Yeah, so here, Pupke, all right? I'll get into it. I got the goods on this asshole. Here he is in Malvern doing his big spiel with the kids listening on what a bad guy my great-great-grandfather was. These assholes. And look, again, this guy fought these Satanists. Here we are on July 29th, 2014. He had to go to a Senate hearing with his associates because they were being accused of selling him a nomination for supervisor, which at that time was a big deal because it involved money, New York City. But the accusers failed to appear. What cowards, folks. Do you see that? They run around and slander people, but when you take them to task, they don't show up. All right. Again, do you think these raggedy ass Mexicans that got involved in the community watch, how would they stand up under deposition or cross examination? You know, really. Remember the hybrid agent that followed me? They all got to touch themselves. What do they all do? We know this, people. Why am I still doing this? See, you think you don't even know what the hell the garment spotted by the flesh is. I like this guy, man. Yeah, I do. So let's slow down because I want to. Let's see. Hang on, folks. We're not done. We are not done. So yeah. Camaro. Oh, look, here's a hybrid right here. These hybrids, this was about a month ago where they lost track of me and they had to send this hybrid out. He was walking along, and because he's got some technology to figure out where I'm at, but you see what looks like a lens flare right there? Well, I figured out that wasn't a lens flare, but I clearly, when I walked by him, I gave him a look. And then when he got further down, he looked back as I was taking his picture, so he knows what he's doing. So what happens is, because these Camaro Clown Club stalkers are knee deep, I have a few pictures of some of them with the mark above them. And in particular, this individual. So what I want to do, I want to show you what they do, folks. Let's look at this. So recently I was trying to help an individual out, do some work. I had made videos. You saw this back in February. I was helping clean up a construction site and whatever else I could do, physically do. But the construction site just conveniently is located next to a perp safe house with 2 Camaros. Now here's one of them right here, a white one. And what they have to do, folks, is they take their license plates off because they know that, hey, I don't look, if you think I'm going to let you people continue to do this and not document and not witness about it, you got to screw loose. So here's what they do, folks. They think they can take the license plate off, but here's what happens. And I tried to get this in order, but what they do is, where is it? Let me see. I got them where I found that car again. Let me see something. And he put the license plate back on when they drive off. Okay. So here's the exact same car, and you could tell with the sunroof, the way the lights are, rectangular lights, but the license plate is on there. Now, what's interesting, and let's shift gears real quick, because I don't really get involved in this reptilian shapeshifter stuff anymore, but I watch stuff and it jumps out at me. Here's our local San Diego newscaster, but look at her hand, all right? Take a good look at that. Do you see that? When you look at her, it just... The thing of it is, it's her mouth, too. Remember, folks, what do we look for? The eyeballs, the nose, the lips. You see how her lip, it's... I'm done explaining this, okay? Look at her lip, you assholes, you reptilian shapeshifter types. You know who leads and who follows, all right? Now let's just wrap this up because I'm getting sick to my stomach. Now I've gone to the detectives, I talked to the police. They all stay away from me. As of recently, because I was giving them a hard time, I showed you how the detectives were camping out in front of the house. But I don't know if he's still around, but here is someone I've been looking for. He's in charge of the security in Rosarito. And again, all right, if I'm such this criminal, why don't these people come question me? But yet they let the cartel run amok and do whatever they want, and they take their money. Why is that, folks? I don't know this guy. I've been looking for him. All these neighborhood community watch snitches protect whoever their contacts are. So what they've done recently is, like I said, they gave the one kid down the street a Camaro. 19-year-old kid. His father's, he's been involved, but they don't care. And I confronted the dad, what was it, about 4 or 5 days ago. Hey, man, I see your kid, he's part of the Camaro Clown Club stalkers now, huh? How's that money treating you? And he's trying to run away from me, but I cornered him in the street. Because remember, they all run back in their houses because they don't want to deal with me. They just want to, play these little games and get their money. So yeah, this guy, I want to figure out who he is, but check this out. There's a Facebook page called Rosarito Beach Uncensored. And after I do this video, they'll probably take it down. But look, this taxi driver, look, these Camaro Clown Club stalkers all have, I guess, jobs. Some of them do. But here, this Camaro Clown Club stalker, all right, we got a ride from this man at 3 a.m., left some of our stuff. I know, our mistake. However, we realized it immediately and he sped off. I have his number, but he ignored our calls. And look who it is. He's proudly standing in front of one of the Camaros that I have a match on. Do you believe this? That this is going on, folks? For now, 7 years? Well, hey, I must be Chapo. I must be Pablo Escobar. Wow, I must be Jeffrey Dahmer. I must be Bin Laden. Well, they know where I'm at. They can come question me if they want. But remember, it's the blessing or curse. Good night.